Franklin Pierce, the 14th President of the United States, was born on November 23, 1804, in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. His father, Benjamin Pierce, was an American Revolutionary War hero with political influence. Franklin Pierce's political career saw him serve as a U.S. Senator and a Brigadier General in the Mexican-American War. Pierce's presidency, which spanned from 1853 to 1857, was marred by the intense sectional controversy over slavery. He was a Northern Democrat who believed that the abolitionist movement threatened the nation's unity. His decision to sign the Kansas-Nebraska Act and enforce the Fugitive Slave Act alienated anti-slavery groups and led to further divisions in the country. Despite his political struggles, Franklin Pierce was known for his amiable personality and charm. He faced personal tragedies during his life, including the death of his son in a train accident shortly before his inauguration. After leaving office, Pierce retired to New Hampshire, where he passed away on October 8, 1869. Franklin Pierce's story is one of a complex political figure who grappled with the challenges of his time, leaving a mixed legacy shaped by his stance on slavery and the turbulent political climate of the pre-Civil War era. James Buchanan, the 15th President of the United States, was born on April 23, 1791, in Cove Gap, Pennsylvania. His father, James Buchanan Sr., was a successful merchant who had emigrated from Ireland. Buchanan's early life was marked by his academic achievements, leading him to study law and eventually pursue a career in politics. Throughout his political career, Buchanan served as a diplomat, U.S. Senator, Secretary of State, and ultimately, President. He assumed office in 1857, serving until 1861. Buchanan's presidency was overshadowed by the escalating tensions between the North and the South over the issue of slavery. Despite his efforts to find a compromise between the opposing sides, Buchanan's presidency was plagued by the looming threat of the Civil War. His reluctance to take a strong stance against secession and his support for the Dred Scott decision further fueled the divisions that ultimately led to the outbreak of the Civil War shortly after he left office. After his presidency, James Buchanan retired to his estate in Pennsylvania, where he passed away on June 1, 1868. His legacy is often criticized for his handling of the events that eventually led to the Civil War, with historians debating his inaction and his impact on the nation's history. In conclusion, James Buchanan's story is one of a well-educated and experienced politician who struggled to navigate the turbulent political climate of his time, ultimately leaving behind a controversial. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was born on February 12, 1809, near Hodgenville, Kentucky. Growing up in a humble log cabin, Lincoln's early life was marked by hardship and a thirst for knowledge. Despite his limited formal education, Lincoln was an avid reader and self-taught lawyer. Lincoln's political career started in the Illinois State Legislature, followed by a term in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1860, he was elected as President of the United States, serving from 1861 until his assassination in 1865. Lincoln's presidency was dominated by the American Civil War, a defining period in U.S. history. One of Lincoln's most significant achievements was the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory. This proclamation shifted the focus of the Civil War to include the abolition of slavery as a key goal. Lincoln's leadership during this tumultuous time helped preserve the Union and set the stage for the eventual abolition of slavery in the United States. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. His tragic death came just days after the Confederate surrender, marking the end of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln's story is one of resilience, leadership, and moral courage. His legacy as the great emancipator and his enduring impact on American history continue to inspire generations of people around the world. Andrew Johnson, born on December 29, 1808, in Raleigh, North Carolina, was the 17th President of the United States. His presidency began in 1865 after the tragic assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. Johnson, a Democrat, had initially been Lincoln's vice president, chosen for his staunch opposition to Southern secession during the Civil War. Johnson's presidency was marked by his lenient Reconstruction policies towards the Southern states that had seceded. This approach faced significant opposition, leading to his impeachment by the House of Representatives in 1868. However, he was acquitted by the Senate by just one vote, narrowly avoiding removal from office. Despite his impeachment trial, Johnson's presidency was characterized by several key actions, including the purchase of Alaska from Russia in 1867, known as Seward's Folly. He also issued pardons to many former Confederates and worked to restore the Union after the Civil War. Andrew Johnson's term in office ended in 1869, and he passed away on July 31, 1875, leaving a complex legacy as a president who faced significant challenges during a tumultuous period